Hi everyone, it's Mario Vegas, so welcome back to Tank Zone. Long time since we haven't looked at the missiles, so we should fix this right now. Today we will talk about general missile tactics, but our main aim and emphasis will be top-down missiles. What's the difference? How to use top-down missiles effectively? Should you use them at all? Does that change your tactics if you choose to use top-down missiles instead of classic ones? So we will compare their capabilities and the ways of use with traditional classic missiles. Do not forget to subscribe and hit notification bell to catch every Tank Zone episode. And now let's go! Load our missiles and play with them. Let's leave this wonderful missile performance replay in the background. We will return to it in the most interesting episodes, and we will take a look at other missile showcases today as well. But now let's start with a general introduction about missiles tactics and missiles themselves. First thing that I would like to point out is your positioning, because you cannot do the same tricks with the missiles as you do with other vehicles. Classic shell ammo, when you pop out of a corner or make a shot from concealed position and instantly disappear back in a cover safety. Working with missile ammo, after you launch it, you must lead that to that target, and while you lead it, preferably you must be stationary to increase precision and chance to hit the target. Of course, you can lead it while you are on the move as well. I'm doing it frequently and quite successfully, but all it comes with endless training and trials and errors. I do understand that maybe not everyone who watching these episodes play Armored Warfare for years. Maybe someone just started, and that's why I will try to make it easy as possible. So therefore, let's assume and stick to the missile lead from a stationary position. And if you decide to play this way, then you must take in account that after missile launch, your vehicle's camo rating falls. Of course, you can use Rashid as a command to minimize camo loss or increase camo rating with Sabrina as your command, but let's leave them alone as well. Let's concentrate on something hard and unchanging, and in this case it will be the distance and concealment. So, therefore, the first thing that you must do to succeed with your missile tactic is keeping distance from the enemy and choosing concealed positions. And by doing that, you will stay undiscovered and will increase your missile tactic success by half or even more, because you will no longer be tied to the cover. You will have better opportunity and freedom to maneuver around and reposition. Of course, by increasing distance to the target, missile flight time will increase as well, and therefore some targets will escape your shots, but you will save your vehicle from being shot as well, and that must be your priority. And therefore, the next thing that you must do is you must master your missile lead to be able to target moving targets effectively to increase chances to catch and hit opponent vehicles that are hastily crossing open areas, moving from cover to cover. To increase success in the missile lead, I suggest choosing Rashid as a command and pick Sting like a bee skill for your gunner to improve anti-tank guided missile control by 15%, and of course, practice. So basically, if you target a distant and fast moving target, you must lead your missile pretty much similar to the classic ammo. Usually, to lead properly, you must aim and lead your missile to the vehicle's front, or for fast and small tracks, lead should be as long as a whole vehicle's length. Okay, but now let's move on to our main topic, which is top-down missiles. What's the difference? So, top-down missiles fly to your target as any other missile, and you can adjust its flight path as with any other missile. Only difference is that short distance before the target missile goes above the target and explodes right above it, targeting the most vulnerable part of the vehicle's armor, and it is upper plate. That's great, right? But with all that luxury comes the price. Generally speaking, top-down missiles damage is only half of your classic missile damage potential. So basically, in general, we are talking about 400 to 500 damage only. Therefore, I would suggest using top-down depending on the situation and only if it is necessary. Top-down missile type is highly effective when you must deal with targets that are hiding behind cover or are fighting from hull-down positions. Good example is reach fights. With top-down, you can effectively punish enemy scouts trying to poke the crests of the sand dunes, riverbeds, creeks, any target behind the rocks, low hill slopes, ramps, etc. Well, you got my point. Any cover that is low enough to fly your top-down missile right above the target's upper part of the vehicle. Top-down comes even more useful when you must deal with dug-in heavy armored targets on low health. Good example are challenges. Okay, but how to use them properly? Well, I suggest using top-downs depending on the situation and only if it's necessary. Well, it is generally speaking, right? So I will clarify and let's draw some tactics or gameplay doctrine if you like. So, when the game starts at the beginning of the match and during the fast enemy encounters, usually a lot of players only start taking their initial fighting positions, and quite often they still do not know or sometimes are not aware that some of their armor is not 100% fully covered. Well, some pro players would shout away this statement, but nevertheless, not everyone is pro, and even pro are only humans, and believe me, that happens a lot of the time. Therefore, the general rule of thumb is, at the beginning of the game, you will tend to use more traditional missiles instead of top-down aiming to inflict bigger damages. And believe me, after the first productive shot, the opponent will try to adjust position and it will not be so easy to penetrate it with a traditional missile anymore. Experienced players will avoid as much as possible to give you another chance. And here you go. Say you and your allies penetrated a couple of targets and basically spooked away all easy weak spots to target. Usually the next phase in the game regarding easy targeting will not be so easy anymore. Opponents will be aware of more or less precise position where your missile threats came from. They will try to avoid being targeted again. Lower plates will disappear, sticking out tails of rear parts of the armor will be hidden behind cover, and opponent's side armor will be turned to you only in extreme do or die situation and never more. And this is a time when you must start to consider using top down, because target did not get away. It is just better positioned, but it is still there, and probably and very likely even do not suspect that what will come next. Therefore, load top down and go ahead and try not only lead your missile over the target, but try to get it over the rear part of the tank to inflict damage as big as possible. It becomes even more important when you deal with main battle tanks protected with ERA, which is highly effective protection against all explosive warheads, including missiles as well. Very good example is T-72B or T-90 with their infamous ERA. These two would be extremely hard to penetrate with top-down, leaving you only one option to be accurate and target their rear engine compartment. Another thing you should be aware of when you're working with missiles is that some vehicles have APS. So some vehicles like, for example, Terminator 2 or T-15 Armata, for example, they both have APS and ERA. So these will be extremely difficult targets for top-down. But if you have no choice and must target such vehicle, I would suggest you sacrifice one missile to make the opponent use APS, and while it reloads APS, launch another missile and try to target its rear compartment. Quite often in the game, situation changes and you must swap back to the traditional missiles. So it is very important to take this point into account, and therefore I strongly suggest picking preparation as one of the loader's skills to reduce ammo swap speed by 50%. As the game progresses, there will appear more and more vehicles on low health. Many of them will be dug in, hiding behind cover. Some will harass your teammates from secondary positions, performing sniping duty. Last bits of enemy scouts will extremely careful working the ridge lines. Basically, for tank destroyer, especially missile armed one, it is a nightmare because none of these enemies wants to give up. They are careful and it will be hard to get to them in a traditional way. But believe me, exactly all this madness is the best time to earn your team's respect and show them that top-down can be a game changer. And this is a only framework, a missile tactics skeleton if you like, and the best way to master missile tactics is just to play the game, practice, experiment, and build your own gameplay style in which you feel comfortable and confident. But I believe that all these things that we covered are highly important to know and follow them all to more or less succeed working with missiles, especially playing vehicles that have only missiles and no secondary armament. That's it for today. If you like this video, give it thumbs up. Thank you for watching and following Tank Zone. Have a wonderful day and see you in next episode.